Okay. I continue to upload my PowerPoint slide, not PowerPoint slides, actually this video. Okay. So if you miss anything, okay, the class, or if you miss any class, you can use it, okay, the videos. Okay? All right, you can find my channels on YouTube. Okay? All right, so let me start. Okay, so it seems that everything here. So today we want to have a presentations. Yeah? All right, the first presentation. Okay? So our presentation is very simple. Find the real case and what strategy actually the organization, the corporation is used, and how the performance works. All right. So this very concise, okay? This very simple instructions can be caused some little vagueness, okay, when you prepare the presentations, but actually that is the practice. Okay. So usually, in most cases, okay, you will have some vagueness, okay, to present something. All right, it's not like a classroom instructions in the business world. Okay, so it's all right. So how to deal with this vagueness is also practice too. Okay, but I believe you are doing good. Okay, so today's presentation. And Wednesday, okay, we're gonna do caption simulations. This is the first practice round, okay? So practice round, you should be familiar with this game, okay? So I believe most teams are registered and ready to start, okay? And some teams are actually navigate, okay? The simulations, I just checked out. So it's good. All right. At this point, I just want to make sure. All right. Please let me know if I've never visited this simulations. I don't know anything about these simulations. I'm not ready to start this game. Please let me know. All right. All right, so no one, right? Nobody. So I assume that you are ready. The teams are ready to start this game. Okay, great. So better familiar with this game, the better performance you will be. Okay, all right. And then the next week, we're gonna start a new chapters, intellectual lessons. Okay. So I just want to make sure. Okay, there's a schedule before we start. Okay. All right. So any question or comment before we start presentations?
Will we have class on Wednesday, or will we use that as like a time to work on the simulation?
It's a good question. For the simulations, sometimes I give you some autonomies. Okay? Something like you can decide where and when you will meet with your team. But and this time, I want you. We will get together, okay, in this video conference, and then I'm gonna make the break rooms. Okay? So your team will meet in the break rooms. Okay? Because if there's too much autonomy, some students are like just slacking. Okay, so some students have a complaint about it. So we start with this video conferencing program. Okay, and I will be here. So if you have any question, you can ask me. All right. So you can meet your team in this, okay, on time. So on Wednesday, our class, okay, we ought to meet like this, okay. Then I will see. All right. Let me see how's going, and then we can talk about that, okay, later on. Okay? All right. Good. So Morgan's question is really nice. I need to address it. So for the Wednesday meeting, we want to meet, okay, 2 o'clock in this video conferencing. Then I'm gonna create breakout rooms for your team discussions. Okay? Then you will have a team meeting, all right, in this class time. Okay? I will be here, absolutely. Okay? So if you have any question, concern, I will try to help you. Okay? All right, so let me start presentations. It will be very casual conversations. So you can jump, okay? You can jump into the presentation and you can ask, can make a comments or whatever you want. Okay? So it will be very casual conversations. So let's start. So which team wanna go first? So what team wanna go first?
We can go.
So you can go. What team?
Team 1.
Team 1. Okay. Team
Okay.
1 will go first. All right. Okay.
How do I share my screen?
Oh, right. I'm gonna talk about that. Okay.
Okay, perfect. Thanks.
So, team 4 is the second. Right. Team 4 and 2, 3. Then team 5 is the last one. Okay. All right. Great. Team 3, yes. Team 1, 4, 2, 3, 5. Okay, great. Okay. So in this setting, okay, if your team is presenting, okay, I'm gonna make one of your team member, okay, be a presenter. I'm gonna note up as a presenter. All right. Then you will find the button, belly button. Okay. You'll find a button to share your screen. All right. To share your screen. Then you can just try it. All right. It's very simple. Okay. So you can share your screen. So only presenter can control the PowerPoint slides. Okay. Forward and backwards, something like that. Okay. So please let me know who will be your presenter when you present. Okay. Anything else? Oh, evaluations. Okay. So you are gonna evaluate. You wanna give scores. Okay. To the presentations. Okay. Including your team and other teams. Okay. So you can visit Canvas. Okay. Now you can visit Canvas with me. Canvas. Under the keys, you can find BUS499B presentation 1. Okay. BUS499B presentation 1 on Canvas under the keys. All right. Then you can find question 1. Evaluate team 1 here. Okay. That means you can evaluate team 1's presentation here. All right. 1 is the lowest score and highest is 5. Okay. So you can just click it and evaluate team 1. And question 2, evaluate team 2 here. So question 2 evaluates team 2's performance. Question 3, evaluate team 3. Question 4, 5, evaluate. Okay. And so on. Okay. All right. Any other things I need to mention or not? Okay, it's clear? All right, Bogas? It's clear? All right, good. So, any question? So everyone will evaluate the presentations. Okay, so please let me make sure everyone, are you ready for the presentations? Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so you are ready. All right, let's start. So team one will be the first time. Okay, so who will be the presenter? Please let me know.
I
Team
will.
one.
Lacey.
Lexi? All right, great. And I'm gonna let Lacey. Where is it? Okay, Lacey. I did not you as a team presenter, so you are presenter right now. Please take time to figure out how to share your screen.
Okay, is it working?
I can see it. Yeah, I see it. And I see background.
Okay, so we chose
Okay, so this is team one. All right, this is team one. So please evaluate after this presentation. Please evaluate team one's performance on the canvas. Okay, team one, please go ahead.
we chose a case study on Fitbit because we thought it's a wearable that's very well known in the class, as well as its competitors like Apple, and we thought that the class would really enjoy a case study on Fitbit.
So just some background on Fitbit. The company started in 2006 and it really started to have some success in 2015. So 6 trackers that come specifically with Fitbit is that it has counting of steps, active minutes, calories, sleep tracking, and monitoring heart rates, which now other companies are actually starting to do all those. So the price ranges anywhere from about $60 to $250. And back in 2016, they sold a lot more wearable devices than Apple and Samsung, but that's obviously changing. In 2017, they had about 25.37 million users, and they owned about 21.5% of the whole wearable market in 2016.
Okay, great.
Since then, Fitbit has began to lose their competitive advantage, or well, they have lost their competitive advantage. They start to see financial numbers drop, such as their share in the market fell to 13.3% and then to 11 in 2018. And they were at the top, ranking at the top in the market, and now they are third behind Apple. And then not really sure how to pronounce this word. It's a Chinese company.
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi.
Yes.
And Apple and Samsung have produced more expensive smartwatches with inbuilt fitness tracking capabilities that are accurate, whereas a weakness to Fitbit is that their tracking devices are not as accurate. And this is a big difference in relation to their competitors. And there's also an increase in demand for low-end watches. And it's kind of like leaving out Fitbit because people are not really wanting Fitbit because they're kind of in the middle of the market. Apple is producing a wearable that is very reliable and it's stylish. And also Apple already has a high brand reputation and loyal followers. And then the Chinese company is kind of like getting everyone who's not wanting Apple, they're getting the customers who are wanting just something really cheap. And Fitbit is kind of like right in the middle, so they're kind of being left out.
Right.
Okay, so the problem with Fitbit was after coming out so strong on the market, they did slowly but surely lose their competitive advantage in the market. And their products were so easy to imitate for other tech companies, and they really failed to continue innovating and improving their wearable technology while other companies advanced and did improve. They were no longer number one when Apple came out with their Apple Watches in 2018, and they were no longer price competitive due to the introduction of new companies into the market.
All right, good analysis.
Now, the strategy that Fitbit has now instituted in order to kind of get back into the market is they've implemented the broad cost leaders strategy, which means that they're attempting to be the low cost producer in every segment of the market. So they're trying to kind of play both segments right now. They're trying to gain a competitive advantage by keeping research and development, production and material costs low. And their goal is to be able to compete with everyone else on the market with a below average price. And in the same breath, they're also trying to keep their existing product line and introduce at least one new line while still maintaining a presence in both segments of the market. And they're working to keep their products up to date while keeping their price low, which will hopefully get them back into a good place.
So keeping with that in mind, their strategy, one of their solutions was that in 2018, they came out with the Versa line, which was their new product line to kind of compete in that more higher end technology area that Apple was succeeding at. And so the Versa has many similar features as the Apple Watch, but it is around $200 cheaper. And then they also partnered with other companies like Google and Amazon as a cost-effective way to accelerate product innovations. The Versa watch includes things like they actually have the Alexa from Amazon instead of Siri. And then Google, they've innovated their maps to have a better tracking system.
Or answer product questions. To get started, just tell me what you need, like what are AA batteries?
Actually, Morgan was saying Alexa. So my Alexa is responding. Great. So that's it?
Yes.
All right, great. I enjoyed it. Okay, so this is a very interesting case. Okay, the market is changing. Competitive environment is changing, right? Okay, Fitbit. Okay, only one prominent player in this market. Then other big companies jump into these markets. Okay? Then intensive competition actually makes change. Okay, makes changes. Okay, great, good point. Good. Then it was very interesting to see. All right, it was very interesting to see in your presentations. Okay, you applied IBB perspective. Okay, actually you asked to Fitbit. Okay, this is you have a resource, valuable, okay, and rare and not easy to imitate, okay, and substitutable or something like that. It's good to see. Also, strategy. All right, we actually have not covered the those chapters, but your team tried to apply in the types of strategy. Okay, we talk about. Great. All right, so I really enjoyed it. Okay, any question, comment about Team 1's presentations? Great job, guys. All right. No good job. No job. What? Okay. I understand that. Yeah, I understand that. Okay. So, any other question, comment? All right, then we can move. All right, team 4. Okay. So, who is gonna be a presenter? Team 4. All right, Jensen, you will be the presenter. Okay. So now you are the presenter, Jensen. All right, Tesla. Great.
So our group decided to do it on Tesla Inc. And you can go to the next slide. Yeah. So we thought it was important to give y'all a little bit of history, even though you probably know a lot about it. So Tesla was founded in 2003 as an American electric automobile manufacturer. The company was formed to create an electric sports car. Elon Musk contributed more than $30 million to start the company. Tesla Motors released its first car in 2008, which was completely electric, and that car cost around $109,000. Tesla Inc. is now known as an American electric vehicle and clean energy company, and their products include electric cars, battery energy storage, solar panels, and other related services and products.
Sorry, it's my turn. I had to swap between like different tabs. Anyway, so Tesla's mission is to make people see that electric cars are better than gasoline cars, to convince consumers to move to sustainable energy, not because it is cheaper or that they have to because that's the way the world's going, but because consumers love them way more than they do regular cars. And I thought I'd show the look of nice looking Tesla cars. Their strategy, according to Elon Musk, the CEO himself, says is to enter at the high end of the market where customers are prepared to pay a premium and then drive down market as fast as possible to a higher unit volume and lower prices with each successful model.
Hey, so I had Tesla strategy is good. Investors like to see it. There's market share as it's risen to $816 a share from its original set price of $4. Customers like to see their models and buy them, as well as with 499,000 produced in 2020. Cumulative revenue of 246.9 billion over the past 10 years, with $31.5 billion during 2020 alone. The company is strong in the market. Tesla turned a full year profit for the first time in 2020, and Tesla has the largest share of the electric car market with 16% share as of 2019.
And for why Tesla's strategy still has some weaknesses, in the manufacturing, they've not been able to keep up with the demand that has accumulated for Tesla. And there's so many different innovations that Tesla is trying to do on their cars, all sorts of technology and putting that into new vehicles that they produce, that it slows down being able to achieve that goal of producing high volume at a lower price. And while all that's going on, it really allows for other companies, like in this lull, you may have seen companies like the Ford Bronco coming in and making all electric vehicles, entering that market space, and also entering that market space at a more affordable value for the average person. And also in terms of brand representation, Elon Musk is really the only face of the company. So it's really just sort of based on him, and there's not a lot of representation. And when that really happens in marketing, it's hard for customers to relate with your brand, especially when Elon Musk has recently just become like the most wealthy individual on the planet.
Basically, just to sum it all up, The company, as stated before, was founded in 2003, and as of February, I believe 12th this year, it is now worth about $783.36 billion, which is just a statement as to the strategy is definitely working. They've already entered the high-end market where the customers are prepared to pay the premium price. But that second half of their business statement strategy, where they're trying to drive down the market as fast as possible to a higher unit volume and for lower prices, they haven't achieved that yet. So as they're doing that, and of course all their other things that they have going on, that's their next thing that they got to work on now, is just kind of finding ways to give a proper and good price car that is also matching the same quality of their high-end cars.
Yes. Yes.
And that's it.
All right, great. Any question or comment about that Team 4 presentation? Tesla. Right, this case actually shows this case is a good example to show the the changing environment. Okay, so Tesla was one of the explorer, all right, frontier in the electric vehicles. Okay, then actually these days the competitive maps are quite different. Okay, most manufacturers, most vehicle manufacturers actually get into this market, all right, then the competition is getting more and more intensive. Okay, so probably Tesla needs a better strategy at this point, something like a turnaround strategy. And actually Team 4 suggests that the cost leadership strategy. So they have their model, but they need to focus on reducing cost. Okay, so this strategy happens, then it reduces cost and increase product differentiations. They can have a sustainable competitive advantage. Okay. Now also at this point you can ask these questions. Again, resource-based view perspective. Okay. 4 questions. They have valuable. Their resources are valuable, rare, imitatable, substitutable. Okay. You can ask that. Then you can think, okay, all right, this one will be, having sustainable competitive advantage or not. Okay, all right. So actually, many people ask me about this Tesla to invest. So every time I say I'm not a fortune teller, I don't know about the future, but I just analyze their strengths and weakness, opportunity and threats. Then based on that, okay, I'm just saying, they are gonna have a sustainable competitive advantage or not. I can say like that, but in that way, but I cannot predict the value of their stocks. Okay? All right. And yes, SpaceX is helping NASA put a US base on the moon by, it's good. So it's a sort of product differentiation strategy. So I should point out that SpaceX. So my understanding as a strategist, when I got this news, okay, so Tesla has the product differentiation strategy too, all right? SpaceX, something like that, and then they focus on reducing cost in electronic vehicles. Okay, then they have what's the strategy? Reduce cost, increase product differentiations. Okay. Then, if this strategy is successful, they will have sustainable competitive advantage. Okay. All right. So this is my understanding about Tesla. Simple understanding. Also, it is very understanding. It is very interesting. Think about that. Tesla. Anyone knows where this name originated from? Tesla?
Nikola Tesla.
Tesla.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Tesla,
Trinity.
All right. Don't worry. Okay. Sorry, Trinity. All right. So Nikola Tesla, right? So he was an inventor. All right. it's a contemporary with the Thomas Edison. All right, Thomas Edison. So Tesla versus Edison. Edison was so successful in terms of the wealth creation, like a GE company, right? GE company is the founded by Thomas Edison. All right, so he was so rich, he was so successful. Okay, but Tesla was one of his competitors. Okay? Tesla was one of his competitors. Tesla actually was great inventor. All right, they're competing against each other. But Tesla didn't have capability to make wealth, to make money. All right, he was just an inventor. Okay, then actually Edison, okay, sometimes hire Tesla to invent something. All right, then Edison take it as an inventor. All right, that is the history between these two great inventors. Okay, so GE, founded by Edison, was so successful so far. Okay, and look at this. Tesla, actually, these days, Tesla, his name is far higher than the GE. Okay? So it is very interesting to see the competition between these two great inventors, Tesla and Edison. GE versus Tesla, something like that. Okay? So this change okay, shows the the change of our environment. Okay, GE is a very traditional industry, focused on traditional industry. Tesla actually focused on emerging industry. Okay, so Edison was a symbol of traditional inventor, and Tesla, his name becomes the words. Okay? Yes, Jensen. Okay, yeah, my perspective is the same. All right, so Tesla was a great inventor. Okay, all right, great. Any other question, comment? Yeah. All right, thank you, Team 4. Actually, there was a good opportunity to talk about the little history about Tesla and Edison, GE. Okay, now we have Team 2. Team 2, you ready? Who is gonna be your presenter? Maggie. Okay, so now Maggie, you are the presenter. Okay, please go ahead.
I can't see the PowerPoint.
Maggie will be the presenter, right? Oh,
yeah.
So Maggie is offline right now. Okay, what happened? All right. Anyone in Team 2 can be a presenter. So anyone wanna be a presenter rather than Maggie?
I can try to see.
All right. Then Adam, you are presenter right now.
Okay. 1 second. I need to figure out how to use it.
Okay. Yeah, take your time. Don't worry. Yes, Maggie, don't worry. Adam is trying to be a presenter right now.
Is it showing it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Blockbuster. Okay, good.
Okay. So we decided to talk about Blockbuster and like what it is, what they did, where did they go wrong, how could they prevented the problem, and like what type of competition would they be facing today. So to start off, we want to talk about like what is Blockbuster. I think we were kind of young to know what Blockbuster was. I think they were peaking when we were like still like maybe 3 or 4 years old. So Blockbuster, they were an American-based leading provider of home movies and video rental game services. So they were the leading provider of rental movies and video games in the 80s through the early 2000s. And throughout the 1990s, they started opening stores globally and internationally. So by 1994, major investors began to invest into Blockbuster. So Viacom, I think, they were one of the world's leading producers of premium entertainment content at that time. They bought Blockbuster for $8.4 million. And by that, Blockbuster was able to reach like over 6,000 stores globally. And like I said, they were peaking during the early 2000s. So they peaked during 2004. So they were able to open over 9,000 stores globally, and they were able to employ around 84,000 people globally, where around 58,000 people were employed by Blockbuster in the US and 26,000 were employed in other countries. And as well, Blockbuster was still capable to earn around like $5.9 billion in revenue despite battling their competitors during the early 2000s. I think their competitors were Redbox at the time, and I think Netflix was still starting up, but Redbox was their biggest rival during that time. Oops, not so.
Okay, and then so Blockbuster rented movies and games to customers, and they had the option of doing either 1-day or 3-day rentals, and a large portion of their profits were actually made from penalizing their customers with late fees, and so that was the majority of their revenue that they made. And then they had the opportunity to buy Netflix, which was a company that mailed 3 movies at a time to your house, and they didn't have late fees, so people preferred that option. But ultimately, Blockbuster decided just to focus on their company and maintaining how it was and not change anything.
There were several things that kind of led to them filing for bankruptcy. And the first one being their failure to evolve. They wanted to continue to have their retail store, but they didn't want to go into this online platform that other companies like Netflix had developed. And because of that, they lost their space in the marketplace. They also turned down Netflix offer. So the offer was that Netflix would take over their online programming as long as Blockbuster would market Netflix in their stores. So obviously Blockbuster turned that down, and that kind of led to this decline in their market as well. Third was that they had too comfortable of a board. John Antioco was the CEO at the time, and he wanted to drop the late fees and promote this online platform. But the board and other investors thought that they were going to lose all their profits from doing that and dropping their late fees, because that was a big chunk of their profit. And so they fired that CEO and hired one of the other guys that was on the board at the time. And he's kind of the one that switched everything back to the way it was and ultimately led to their filing for bankruptcy. And the last one being the lack of effective marketing. So the guy that was the CMO in the UK took all of their money in the marketing budget and put it towards marketing this storefront instead of marketing their online platform. So they ended up not being able to have the awareness of the online platform to their customers, and that also helped lead them to their loss in the marketplace.
All right.
And in preventing the problems that occurred, it was mainly going off of what Maggie was talking about with the board. They were making decisions based off their complacency and their initial profits and everything, rather than looking forward and how fast the market was changing. And so if they If they pretty much just analyzed the market and looked at competitors such as Netflix, it would have benefited majorly. So like the failure to adapt to that rather than staying with the retail environment, they could have streamed movies and done different services and at least survived in the market.
So one of their biggest competitors at the time being Netflix, they'd send their movies and you could enjoy them at your house and send them back with no late fees. But shortly after Netflix became a big hit, they decided to expand their horizons. And in 2007, Netflix actually started the opportunity to stream services. So it wasn't really until then that we saw a big push towards online streaming of videos, which is a big reason that Blockbuster was actually able to last as long as it did. The big jump in technology inevitably ended the Blockbuster career because they weren't putting their efforts into starting their online streaming services and marketing that. They were so focused on staying a brick and mortar store. So after Netflix began streaming their movies, people saw that it was much easier, and they no longer had to leave their house, and they were able to get movies like basically on demand. And the Netflix began the era of streaming services, which has since grown to include many other big name services like Disney Plus, HBO Max, Peacock, and other competitors that Blockbuster was just never able to keep up with because they were really pushing to stay a physical store as opposed to putting the effort into being an online streaming service.
I think that's all. These are all the sources that we used to create our PowerPoint.
All right, great. This is pretty interesting case to show the industrial effect. So there is a trend in the industry. Okay. So this market actually has a big change from offline to online, right? So Blockbuster, okay, was focused on the offline market, okay? And there are some newly emerging, online streaming services. Okay? So this is how to see the corporation level strategy. Right? We didn't talk about this yet, but there are 3 levels of strategy: functional level, business level, corporation level. The functional level is departmental things, okay? And business level, one single unit of business. Okay? Corporation level, multiple business units. Okay? So think about that. You have multiple corporations in the umbrella of a corporation. Okay? Then you need to harmonize this. Okay? These business units. This is a corporation level strategy. Okay? So think about that. Blockbuster, it has a great resource in the offline. So if Blockbuster has online streaming service, okay, separately, right, then they have 2 companies, Blockbuster and online stream. Okay, then what happens between these 2 companies? Actually, this online streaming service hurt the market of Blockbusters, the existing company. So it is very hard. To have these 2 companies, okay, and the umbrella of the company, okay, at the same time. Okay, it's not easy strategy. Okay, then they lost time to make this change, and other online streaming services actually hurt their existing markets, and they just decline. Okay, all right. So in this case, I just want to emphasize the first thing. Okay, it's not easy. It's not easy to have 2 business units which compete against each other. All right. So that is first thing. And second thing, the this industry. All right. So declining industry. Think about that. Declining industry. Okay. So online streaming service is emerging, and this offline market is decreasing. Okay. All right. I'm not sure this idea is applicable to this industry or not, but in many cases, in the declining industries, okay, the market is getting smaller and smaller, okay, but also the number of competitors are getting smaller and smaller. All right. So in the declining industries, in many cases, you can see some players. They have a cash cow market. All right, cash cow markets, because market is small, but competition is not so greatly intensive. Okay? So, for example, blockbusters. Okay, if they have not just big network, something like that before the blockbuster. Okay, because small number of shops or some online shops that offer the videos that are not available in internet streaming services. Probably it can be a good opportunity, right? Okay, so you cannot have the some videos or some whatever, some music videos which are not available from online service. Then probably you can use this online stores. Okay, so this can be a good example of the how to survive in a declining market. Okay, so it can be a cash cow. I just want to emphasize this two points. Okay. So Trinity is typing something, so I'm gonna wait what Trinity is saying. Okay, all right. So next is any question, comment? All right, so we're gonna move to team three. Team three, Trinity. So team three, you are the presenter, Trinity, right now.
So it says that I can't share my screen. It says it's unsupported for me. I don't know what that means, but anybody
So
else on my team?
you cannot see any button like something like a video.
I can see it. It just says that I'm not allowed to share my screen.
Oh, really? Okay. So
My
anybody
computer
else?
or something.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay, Brooks, you will do it. Brooks, you are the presenter right now.
Okay, let's see here. Oh, here we go. Share my screen. Let me go over here. Okay.
Yep, it is working.
All right. Is that full screen? All right, awesome.
Yes, management
Oh,
metrics.
sorry.
All
Let me
right,
go
so
back to
this is
slide one.
team three. This is team three. Please go ahead.
Okay, so we are going to be diving even deeper into Blockbuster because they're just such an iconic staple of our childhood. So, Team 2 did a great job, and we're just going to continue to look at this awesome example for business strategy. So, if you guys do me a favor and just imagine that you are on your way home from preschool and it's a Friday night, and you've got your buddies that live next door, your next door neighbors, and you're all on the way home, and your mom stops at Blockbuster, and you get the opportunity to choose your very favorite movie or something entirely new, take it home and watch it with your best friends. And the store kind of smells faintly like chocolate and cardboard and a little bit like plastic. And all you can imagine doing is just running through the aisles and in search of the perfect movie. So that's what I think of whenever I think of Blockbuster. And we are going to be discussing why they were unsuccessful, even though as kids we remember it so fondly. So, Blockbuster, as Team 2 mentioned, they really didn't adapt well to the changes of the market. They didn't have adequate planning and environmental scanning. And if they had, then, Blockbuster's future might have looked a little bit different. But unfortunately, they were under some pretty poor leadership and management, which didn't help the situation. They also were really concerned with numbers and with scaling and with growth instead of focusing on quality and the customer's experiences. So they would always talk about in their commercials how they had 10,000 movies to choose from in any Blockbuster store. But they actually took advantage of their customers because they profited mostly off of late fees. So that's just a basic overview of why Blockbuster was unsuccessful, but we want to delve deeper into those things now.
Okay, great.
So one of the keys that Blockbuster failed to do is use adaptation. The CEO, John Antico, did not understand his environment, like Trinity said. In fact, in 2000, Netflix CEO Reed Hastings, they offered to partner with Blockbuster, and they would do the online presence where Blockbuster would utilize their marketing and branding they already had in place. But the Blockbuster CEO pretty much just laughed in Reed Hastings' face and told him no. And in 2004, finally, Blockbuster considered adapting, and they did make those initial changes where reducing their late fees and increasing their online presence. But at that point, it was a little bit too late, and Netflix had started to grow because in 2000, Netflix was still pretty young, and they hadn't really bloomed into the big giant that we know today. And that risk of adapting would have very well been worth the reward if Blockbuster had not been so stuck in their own ways and kind of stubborn. They thought, we're big Blockbuster, we're not going to change just because Reed Hastings and Netflix want to do that. And also, we can learn from Blockbuster, management matters. Blockbuster failed to recognize customer experience. They only had a brick and mortar presence, whereas their competitors like Netflix were starting to do more online and make it easier for customers and help it be better and easier. They should have been online sooner, and they didn't. They tried to pivot, but it was too late at that point. And they focused on the wrong things where they were building their brick and mortar presence, where they should have looked and actually examined, the customers and see what the customers wanted. Growth opportunities were stunted too. They didn't have a lot of marketing strategies targeted, and also their customer experience was pretty poor. They were always giving the late fees, and it was kind of difficult for people to go in the store and buy the movie or rent the movie rather. And they had no online retail spot for those years until 2004 when they finally did change.
So what Blockbuster could have done to avoid these failures is, first of all, targeted specific customers. Once Netflix got in the market, until they were word of mouth advertising everything. I'm sure presence effort. Most of us have heard about Netflix actually through word of mouth rather than through some advertisement if we were early adopters, that is. They could have expanded to an international market because Netflix wasn't international until 2010. And they only moved into Canada. Blockbuster was international, but they could have focused more on those international markets to leverage their what they already had in place. And also, most laggards into the market of Netflix were over a certain age threshold. Older people they're more resistant to change, more conservative. So Blockbuster could have pushed their marketing more toward those customers and tried to keep them rather than trying to ultimately beat Netflix. They did have faster service in the beginning, which could have been part of their marketing scheme, although Netflix, eventually moved to streaming. And another strategy is if the CEO at the time just accepted Netflix's offer, perhaps the partnership would have grown something even bigger. Or they could have pivoted over to game rental, because I remember I used to rent a lot of games from Blockbuster myself. There was a market there that they didn't capitalize on. So ultimately, Netflix ended up winning because of their subscription-based business model, first and foremost. There was no late fees, of course. Nothing sneaky that you would see on the bill after you ordered a DVD. They were delivered straight to your, of course, and their online presence was just growing. We have what we have grown. The first movers into streaming with all the streaming services today. They had no physical locations, and they had very limited marketing. It was just word of mouth, basically. And they saved so much on their costs that their profitability skyrocketed. So they were able to capitalize on that and get more market share than Blockbuster could handle.
Hey guys, so here's some key takeaways kind of listened to that were repeated in the presentation by Team 2, did a great job, and ours as well. Really, in the name of capitalism, you really have to grow in order to be successful. That's pretty much what the whole business model is about. Obtaining more of your business vertically and horizontally along the supply chain will help you stay relevant and stay on top of things in your market. So try and be on the lookout for anything you can acquire along the supply chain in either direction, and try and be creative when you're making strategic decisions. I'm sure that no one thought that. I'm sure whatever Netflix did was so innovative that no one thought about it before they did it. So be creative whenever you're seeing new ideas. Try and stay up to date on things that are happening in your market, and improve customer experience. If your main profit is gauged by low customer satisfaction, that's probably not a really good profit mechanism. So you can do this by watching customers. I'm sure you could see how frustrated and flustered they were going in and realizing their late fees were so much more expensive than actually renting the movie. And then that would probably be something that you would want to fix. Be open to opportunities that could really advance your business, such as mergers or acquisitions even. Sometimes we get so developed into an idea that we call it like our baby, and it's something that needs to stay with us forever. But there really could be some very advantageous opportunities out there for you to take care of, and adapt internally when necessary. Also, general rule, make your product or service something hard to imitate, something that really can't be substituted easily. That way you can stay relevant inside your market. And that's all we have.
Uh-oh, we can't hear you, Dr. King.
All right, now I'm sorry about that. So, what did I talk about? Okay, Blockbuster. All right, it was really nice. It was really nice to see. Okay, it was really nice to see two different approaches on the same case. That's really, really nice. Okay, it's good. It's good. So Blockbuster is a good example. Good example. Okay. So our environment is changed. Okay. Our competitive environment is changed. Okay. So general environments are changed. So our strategy should be dynamic. Okay. To be consistent with these changes. Okay. So this Blockbuster example shows, this case shows, this dynamic strategy. We need a dynamic strategy. Okay, we ought to practice this in your simulation too. Okay. All right, great. Any question, comment? All right, then we have one more team, Team 5. Team 5. Okay. So who is gonna be a presenter? Team 5. Trick. All right. So Pat, you are the presenter right now. All right.
There we go. All right.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So we did our presentation over Netflix, and it was me, Ansley, Patrick, and Gridley. Netflix started out as a DVD rental company that focused on mailing its subscribers copies of the DVDs. In the beginning, the business model was really innovative and successful, and they noticed in the mid-2000s that there was an opportunity for digital streaming market. Netflix incorporated an aggressive strategy to take hold of this new market through applying algorithms. Netflix has been able to better serve and to keep their subscribers.
Yeah, so Netflix has done a great job innovating. Obviously, like Molly said, for the mid-2000s, they had already come out with a good streaming service. And with Blockbuster and the other, physical DVD copy rental places on the decline, Netflix saw that the external threats were really on the decline and could really push to make a great market share or increase the market share.
So Netflix had a sustainable competitive advantage. They kind of planned on getting involved and kind of dominating the industry. So they focused on creating a rare, valuable, and difficult to imitate business strategy. They knew that they were going to be the first to kind of enter this market. So they knew they had an opportunity to capitalize on and get kind of head start on everyone else. So then within a year, a team of engineers, created and built the background of Netflix, and then the research and development played a huge role in allowing them to kind of take advantage of this opportunity. So obviously they were able to dominate the paid video streaming market since it was kind of an early adopter of it. And then Netflix's kind of domination of the market and being able to keep the prices low set a really difficult barrier of entrance against anyone who's trying to compete with them. So they kind of updated and kept track of its strategy and developed new content called Netflix Originals, which made the barrier of entry that much harder for other streaming companies. So they were trying to have more loyal consumer base, and the loyalty stemmed from with the Netflix Originals only being accessible from Netflix subscribers.
Netflix created a basic rating system using big data to track the number of views, customer feedback, if videos were watched until the end, and the IMDb ratings. Netflix could provide and produce the best content and give a better overall experience for their customers, which let them gain the competitive advantage over their competitors. This consumer-focused algorithms allows Netflix to know what movies and shows that a consumer will watch and help them stay ahead of the other streaming services. As of now, Netflix has a recommendation that knows which image will make the customer hit play. So, possible downfalls to Netflix. In order for Netflix to stay dominant in their industry, they must continue to have new subscriber growth. So, and then there is a significant increase in competition. Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon TV. And Disney Plus kind of serves as a double whammy because Netflix had Disney movies, Pixar on their services, and now that Disney Plus is a thing, they've pulled the Disney stuff off of Netflix. And then there's a rising content cost, acquiring and creating new content, and also making sure that people are watching their content.
And that'll do it.
All right, great job. Okay, any question, comment about Team 5, Netflix? Any question, comment? All right, courses, great presentations. I agree with that. All right, so it is very interesting to see in this presentation, Blockbuster versus Netflix, and Netflix versus other online competitors. Okay, actually, when we compare Blockbuster versus Netflix, okay, Netflix had a competitive advantage. Okay, it was obvious, but at this point, okay, Team 5, okay, is comparing Netflix with other online competitors. Then Team 5 says Netflix is a great company, but it's not sure. We cannot be sure, okay, if Netflix has a competitive advantage, sustainable competitive advantage compared with the other online competitors. Okay? Because this competition, all right, this competition is getting more and more intensive in this market. Okay, that's a good analysis. Very nice. Okay? So always, competitive advantage is a relative concept. You can compare between two or more. Then, as competitive advantage is which one? You can decide like this. Okay, there's no absolute competitive advantage. Okay, because the environment is always changing. Okay, then competition is changing. Your market is changing. Okay, so to be consistent with these changes, okay, your strategy should change too. All right. So in the simulations we will do okay, round by round competition. Okay, so based on the previous round, the performance, okay, the result, you will have new strategy in every round. Okay, so you are gonna practice this dynamic service strategy. Okay, good. We all done 5 teams presentations. I love your presentations. Everyone did a great job. Okay, I love it. Okay. So this is Monday. So Wednesday we are gonna do. Oh, any question, comment? Any question or comment about the presentations? Please say no if you don't have any question. I just want to make sure. Okay, all right. Then Wednesday we'll have the simulations. We'll meet in this video conference, okay, at the same time. All right. Then I'm gonna create breakout rooms for your team discussions. So your team will meet and this video conference. Okay, as usually, we did. Okay, clear? All right. Then if you don't have any question or concern, I will see you on Wednesday. Okay? You did a great job today. I really enjoyed your presentations.
Dr. King, what is this presentation one thing we have to submit on Canvas?
Oh, you don't need to submit. Oh, your evaluation? Oops.
Oh, yes. Should we go ahead and take that?
Yes, please submit it. The you mean the evaluations, right, on Canvas?
Yes, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Okay, I will see you on Wednesday. All right, bye everyone. You did a great job.